Hello class 6, welcome to my next video. It's about long multiplication, and we use long multiplication when we're timesing by 2 or more digits because there are too many processes involved to do that mentally most of the time. And I always say this in class, but it's crucial you set out your question like this because it's easier to rectify mistakes before it gets too late. It's also easier to check your work, and it helps us along the way because there's quite a bit to remember. So, sorry, just noticed that. Okay, the question is 38 times 24. I want you just to tell the screen what you think is under the purple square. It's the multiplication symbol. Now I want you to tell me what's under the blue rectangle. And it's the placeholder, and that needs to go in before you do any maths. And what do you think is under the red rectangle? It's actually 38 times 4. So that means under our other rectangle, it must be 38 times 20. Okay, so we're doing them separately. We're timesing 38 firstly by 4 and then by 20. Right, let's get started. So I'm going to need a pen. Let's hope this works. Okay. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is times everything by 4, and that's this one here. So we'll do 8 times 4, which is 32. And then we'll do 3 times 4, which is 12, but we have to carry the 3, which makes 15. And because there's nothing else to times, I'm going to bring that 1 straight up there. And before we move on, I'm just going to check, does 38 times 4 look like 152? I think it does because we know we can double and double 38, and it's 152. The next thing we're going to do is times the same number, 38 by 20. And now you might notice 20 is 5 times bigger than 4. So this answer must be 5 times bigger. So a rough estimate, 5 lots of 152, or 5 lots of 150, is 750. So we're looking for something around there. Okay, and I'll tell you why the 0 comes into place. It's hard for us to times by 20 mentally. So what we do, we're going to times everything by 2, but because we have this 0 here, everything we times by 2, because we're putting it here, everything is pushed 1 place to the left on the place value chart, which automatically times everything by 10 for us. So if we times by 2, we're actually timesing by 20, which is the clever thing about long multiplication. So that's why we keep it 2, but we put the 0 there. Okay, so I'm just going to move this little circle to there to make me remember. We are now on the 2, but really it's 20. So 8 times 2 is 16. Make sure everything's lined up properly. And 3 times 2 is 6. Add the 1 is 7. So we said we were looking for something about the 750 mark. We've got 760. I'm happy to carry on. So what we've done so far, we've times 38 by 4. We've times 38 by 20. So we've times everything by everything, which is what we want to do. Now we just need to add our 2 answers together. So column addition, we'll do 2 add 0 is 2. 5 add 6 is 11. And 1 add 7 add 1 is 9. So it's hard to write with my right hand. So I've got 912 there. And I think that's okay. That's how we do long multiplication. It's best doing it in stages because you can stop if you made a mistake. And using these is really important, I find. Right, let's move on. I'm just going to show you a 3-digit by a 3-digit if we've got time. So let me get the pointer back on. Under the green rectangle will be 267 times by 5. Under the red will be 267 times by 30. excuse me, sorry. And under the purple, should be 267 by 100 times 100 there. Perfect. So let's quickly do the maths. Just want to show you that timesing by 3 numbers or even 4 digits, it's not that much harder. So firstly, going to times everything by the 5. Going to put a circle around that because I don't want to move on to the 3. 7 times 5 is 35. 6 times 5 is 30, add the 3 is 33. 2 times 5 is 10, add the 3 is 13. And like I said, we always check. 267 times 5, 1335. I think that's good because I know if I times that by 10 and halve it, this is what we have. Right, now our place value holder comes in here. So the 0 is we're going to times everything by 3, but really this should be times by 30. The 0 is going to do that for us because it's going to move everything one place to the left. So all the calculations we do are timesing by 3, but the fact that we're putting it in one place to the left actually times it by 30. Perfect. So let me move the circle over to the 3, make sure I'm on the right lines. You can see how these get quite messy actually in the books. So again, we start here. I need a pen. Much better in the classroom. Okay, we start with the units. So 7 times 3 is 21. 6 times 3 is 18, add 2 is 20. And 2 times 3 is 6, add 2 is 8. 8,010. And that should be 6 times bigger than the first answer, so I think we're okay. And the last one, we times it by 100, so I've put 2 zeros in there because when you times by 100, you move everything to places to the left. So if these 2 zeros are going to automatically move things 2 places to the left, it's going to times by 100 for me, which means I can just times by 1. 7 times by 1 is 7. 6 times by 1, I should have moved that circle back over, but you know where I am. 6 times 1 is 6, and 2 times 1 is 2. 26,700 is obviously 267 times 100. The next thing we do, the last thing we do is do the addition, just quickly before we run out of time. 5, 4, 10, 16, and 3. There we go, 36,045.